Hello, wonderful viewers and our audience. Welcome to another wonderful session of your favorite podcast, Washani Podcast, Real People Issues. In this our podcast, we talk about real issues affecting people in their everyday life. And today, as usual, we have a very wonderful couple as our guest today. Hope you're excited.
Yeah.
So, along with me, my co-host
Daniel.
and please just introduce yourself to our audience.
Okay, so ladies first, right?
We're okay with that.
Okay, so my name is Joyce Kenneth. What else what I do? I'm a human resource professional. I'm a spiritual leader in a church. I'm a wife.
Wow.
I'm a mom. And I'm plenty things to plenty people.
Wow. A friend too.
Yeah, a friend, a client. Take my money.
So you take my money. So
Okay, I'm Kenneth. I think I'm going to start with the last one. You said I'm many things to many people. A business development strategist, a leadership expert, and a pastor, a husband, and a father, and a friend.
and I'm here.
I'm an educator, yeah, a very seasoned educator, a scholar for that matter. So I'm a lot of things, but let me just talk in.
Well, for us, we are not husband to anybody. But let me just ask, why?
Why him? Okay, we've known since 2007.
You guys are boyfriend and girlfriend?
No. We're church members.
Okay, you are like a sister to him.
Oh, yeah, he was like a brother to me. And we're church members, and we grew up. We were growing together in church. We became leaders in church, co-leaders in church. At some point, I was even leading him because I was the administrator of the church. So we've just been friends before he started trying to shoot his shot. And he started telling me a long time, I feel you're going to, and that time I didn't want to get married because I was still very young and I was not very interested in those conversations, but he kept on, trying. And his word that time, he would tell me, God said I should produce in your calling. I say, Odogu producer.
Wow.
Do I look like a singer you want to produce? But then he started showing interest in the fact that he wanted me to become, He was investing in my growth. He was the first person to want to correct, we quarreled a lot as the own leaders in church. We always had issues, always having clashes, but he was always the first to want to lend a voice to my growth or see how to support. So I feel like he was just there he was trying to sell himself.
He was very strategic.
As a husband material, but But then I at some point he was the person to convince. It took me a very long time. At some point I broke the relationship. I started not doing again. But then that time he became red.
Okay, you see
he would say I'm not a happy man.
God.
But later I got my conviction. I needed to be very sure that this was a forever something. And when I was ready, I told him, okay, let's.
Okay, so I was going to throw the question to you.
Okay, why? Okay, I'm actually someone who just wants to create this environment for people, to actualize their God-given dream and aspiration.
Yeah.
So anything that will help people realize that I'm all for it, I go all out for it. And looking at her, I said she had all of the different components I wanted, to make that happen.
What are those components? Just
One is that okay, the first one is that she was somebody who was sold out to God. So that one was not negotiable at all, because because that was going to create the value system, for the family we want to build. So if the person is not even sold out to God, and we don't want to have to deal with a person who does not even believe, in fact, it will kill me.
Yeah.
It will kill me, and my peace of mind is very important to me. So she had that, and then she was also somebody who had a deep sense of, right and wrong. I was not someone who would be able to tell me you're wrong, your rights, not just somebody who anything just goes.
Yeah.
You know, you just be calm and all of that. And then again, the fact that she was independent. I didn't want a liability.
Wow.
I used to say that I don't want somebody that will look at me and say, do you know I'm the wife of so and so? No, I said, no, you've got to have a life of yours. Otherwise, you're going to become a leech or a parasite. I didn't want that. So she had all of this.
She wasn't asking for them to kill.
No. She wasn't. But I was even the one kidding.
Wow.
So she wasn't asking for it.
Wow.
I was, men, you want to just. Yeah. And
God, where?
the thing is, people, I know even people want to give you when you're not asking. That's why you see rich men keep getting reward. People keep getting offers. Yeah. They don't want it. When you act needed, people even the least thing they will elongate the process, frustrate you. That's why you have to. I'm not saying go and start acting like I don't need it when you need it.
You act with wisdom.
Yeah, act with wisdom, that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So she asked me of these things, and I just felt like, okay, this was the first. But initially, she had some things I didn't want to because at times she could. She was so work focused. Work. So no time for even play. You can't even joke with her, maybe because we're fellow leaders, and she won't give you tasks.
I want to know how you'll be able to deal with this because it's a real issue.
Yes.
Personally.
Everything, there's time for everything. Maybe as at that point in time, she needed it. She gives you tasks to do because she was the church administrator and we're answerable to her. I don't have issues submitting to a woman, so that's not an issue at all. So she gives you task. So she expects that task has to be done first. Every other thing should be secondary. And then I feel at times, just mix the every other thing with the task and let this thing just flow. That's when we always get into problem. And I just felt like this will be too difficult to deal with. Are you sure? By the time I married this person, she will not be all task, and kill me with task. But getting to marriage, it was just a case of what I ordered versus what I got.
Wow. This is amazing. Man.
So was it in the place of this whole relationships thing that you noticed that you had a business agreement to do with her? What inspired the business partnership?
Okay, for business, before we even got together as friends, she had not, though she expressed the entrepreneurial side of her when she registered the company, the enablers, and it's come from the word to enable people, achieve much, enable people become more productive. It has always been our core, our major drive to help people become profitable, let them become productive in whatever they are doing, So she has expressed that, but not with intensity the way I had. It was even when we now got into marriage, if you leave her, she wants to just build career, work for somebody, and all of those things, But being a business person, business consultant, she also being an expert when it comes to human resource, development. So I just felt, okay, we can do this together, As much as once in a while, I might try to fit into all the shoes, but that only happens, as occasions happen during emergency. Even the human body, for example, we learn from biology, you have the kidney and the liver. The kidney does more of the helps to purify the blood, remove ammonia from the system, convert them into urea and excrete them. But when then the liver also does its own work too. Now, but when the liver, there's something the liver removes from the body, it's called bilirubin, the bar, removed from the system. Now, but whenever the liver becomes dysfunctional, the kidney does that. So the kidney does that until the liver is restored to functionality again. But when that doesn't happen, the liver continues to do that and it's now overworked. Yeah. That's when you see people, they begin to urinate dark amber color urine. That's a dysfunction. So they should go for checkup. That's a dysfunction already. And if liver continues, kidney continues to do that, it will break down. So at time I try to fit into all of these things, but there's nothing as good as specialization. So she asked that, I said, man, let's do these things together. I want people to have that wonderful life that God has ordained them to live. That dream that they have in their mind. You want to enable people become productive in this? Come on, let's partner. And that was what gave birth to In Charge. In fact, we didn't want to start with In Charge. What we wanted to have was a company that had experts in them. So it's registered top expert. By the time we went to CAC, it was already taken. It wasn't available. So we went into deep thoughts, thinking, asking ourselves questions, and that was so we said, okay, what is the end goal of having top experts so that people can become in charge of their crafts, in charge of what that was what gave it to In Charge Solutions Limited.
Wow, wonderful. So for you, were you comfortable with doing business with your husband? I know women like to have their own money. Now, let's be very honest. In this part of the world, if a man borrows money from the wife will ask the man to pay back. Like, it's as serious as the man will still give money for food, but the woman will still say, you are owing me. So there is this mindset of women, and women want to hold their own money but share their husband's money. I'm not kidding. So what was it like for you doing business with your husband, where you know that he will know 100% of what comes in? Okay, like what was it like for you, and getting to do exactly the same thing, seeing him run the company together with him? What was it like for you? And I happen to understand that you're a goal-driven person. You want to be a high flyer. Did you ever feel like it was going to set you back, it was going to draw you back, or so just?
Okay. First and foremost, our marriage was built on trust and transparency. So we never had that mindset of my money, your money. From the get-go, it was our money. So we saw it as if you're working somewhere and you're earning 30,000 and I'm earning 40,000, our money is 70,000. So when I work in places, I see myself as representing my family there. So it has always been our money. So I can take money from his wallet, even if it's not always comfortable, because he always makes plan for change. I took money once, and then he didn't know I took. When he went there, he didn't know he didn't have money. I can make transfer from his account, he can make from my account.
Wow.
So
Wow. That's level of freedom, like openness.
We don't have any issue when it comes to transparency. When I know if he has 1 naira, he knows if I have 0 naira. There's no issue. We might have issue in how we spend, because I'm very spendthrift, and he's more
of the conservative.
Don't use generous.
Okay.
He spends. He likes to enjoy, and me, I like to calculate.
But
to spend this thing now.
This life, I can't kill myself.
So sometimes I'm wicked with money.
No, it's
not like he's blowing it, but sometimes I think I actually need that side. It's, two extremes. When you see two extremes, you want to see how to balance it out. So I can be at an extreme of holding and say, no, let's plan. I want to plan. And he is more like, this suya is going to make me happy. Let me get my happiness first. So, but we need that, because I can walk and not think of rewarding myself. But he likes to reward his efforts, So, and so I know that, okay, if I give you your share, spend it, let me follow you. Let's not blow up everything. That's what I know. We need that balance. I need that sense of enjoyment. He needs that sense of saving. So we try to respect that. But when it comes to transparency in fund, I don't think we've ever had an issue with what you get or what I get. The money is on the table.
Wow.
We plan and say, okay, if money comes in right now, what's the plan? What do we need to settle? We are settling this. And this trust in finances came from trusting it's like I always have, if I'm sleeping and I open my eyes, see my husband with a knife above me, I'll just feel he wants to kill a mosquito. It can't be me. It can never. I can never be the one you want to kill.
Yeah.
That's the extent of trust. Before we got married, we established a lot of boundaries. Even down to sexuality. We said nothing until we get married. So I can trust. If I come in and I see ladies with him, I can't be feeling like who knows. I know if my husband has lost food, he will tell me. So we can talk about it. So it's not a case of so that trust
100% openness.
Is very open. So having to so I didn't have any fear partnering to do. If I want to go married, then I always tell him we're supposed to be doing big things together because I always saw marriage as partnership. So we're not just partnering to build business, we're partnering to build family, we're partnering to build a generation, we're partnering to build ministry, we're partnering to build our lives. So business is just an aspect of that partnership that we share. So I was not scared. I only felt like okay, he had the visionary aspect more than I had. One can see 1001 possibilities. One you can see he can come in here and I can tell you 10,000 things you can do with your business. Is that he just if he talks with you, then that from that little thing you say you're doing, he will start showing you 1001 prospects out of that thing. And me, I had more of the managerial side. I want to hold the system. I'm very realistic, Like today, when we're dressing up, we're talking about some ideas, and I said, I just want to do this thing. I have a book I'm launching on my birthday. It's called Small Thing Big Results. I said I want to have small thing big results and do a talk in different cities. And I said, more money to do this thing. And I said, and then you say, don't cut the flow. Better you finish dreaming. When you finish dreaming, don't, because once you think the money and all of that, you cut the flow of creativity. Finish the dreaming and then later. But me, I'm that realistic. As you're talking the big plan, I'm like, how does it apply to today? But so that balance of dreaming and knowing that there's someone that can also break down that dream into actionable steps or those little things that we can start from where we are and start doing. So we saw it as okay, let's do it together, let's see, let's do something, let's do things. We always do things together, we're always planning. We're always planning. If we're not planning family, we're planning. There's always something that we're planning together. So it was not I was not afraid of he handles the company's finances when it comes to making transactions. We have our person who records finances, but when it comes to I don't think he's going to. I don't see why I shouldn't trust him. Someone that I share the same bed, not that we eat. If he doesn't trust me, he should be more scared that I can take his life, not steal his money. And I cook, he eats. You should be afraid that I'll put poison for him. So it's not money that is the most important. If you can trust me with your life to eat what I give you, then I don't think money is. So that foundation of trust and transparency is what has helped us, and we're not afraid to be ourselves. We talk, we debate ideas, and I tell him that's the cross you get for marrying an intelligent person. I'm not an OES member. Even in our office or the table there, we debate ideas. You have to convince me that this thing you want us to do. So I have to think through it. So sometimes he can be talking, and he knows he has to do a lot of convincing to get my mind into that thing. Wow. So I can be quiet for 30 minutes, watching what he's saying, and I'm thinking. And because both of us have the right mindset, I'm always thinking, what's the superior idea here? Because it's not about who wins, it's about what's the superior idea. Is this a superior way of thinking? Would this solve our problem? So as he's trying, he has to use sometimes 10,000 words, and I have to be quiet. I don't respond. He'll tell me, give feedback. I say, I'm thinking through everything you're saying. I want to be sure that by the time I say, okay, I think we can, push with this and all of that. So he's not afraid to hear my plenty thoughts or my plenty ideas. I'm not also afraid to debate what he's saying. And our staff know that all we are out for is to win. So we don't care who the idea is coming from. If you think this, and I can tell you no. And sometimes in those mild debate sessions, we now say, okay, we now see where this point can add to the original idea and actually make it, better than what it is. And the goal is let's just win. We don't care who it's coming from. As far as this idea, we are both convinced that this is what we should do. And sometimes I might not be too convinced, but I say, okay, I don't even have, but let's try. And we have good mindset when it comes to failure. If we fail, we stand up and continue. Let's try. Let's experiment with this thing. It might just be the blockbuster. There's no. So I'm not. He's not afraid of me. I'm not afraid of him. He's very intelligent. If you hear him, he can start. He teaches. Yeah. He can use science and explain 1001 concepts. He can use. So he's very intelligent. Up until yesterday, sometimes like I was talking about the book I'm writing. He's giving me ideas. In fact, yesterday he had to help me break it down into how we can structure the book, and so he's involved in what I'm doing, and he's part of what I'm doing. So he's not threatened by anything. I'm not. If I even tell him that someone say don't do that, say go collect the money and collect.
Okay, so from all you've been saying, like I think this is a perfect match. Yeah, this is a perfect. You guys complement yourself a lot. The flow is there. I was also going to ask, don't you feel threatened? I know, yes, you trust her. I know it's working out well, but we are men. Don't you maybe woke up in the middle of the night and feel like
she's in the limelight.
We
like,
tend to see her more on Facebook and.
Mm.
So what is it like for you? Don't you, you know?
Okay, this is it. At the point where we had this conversation or a meeting with our spiritual leader, and we're talking, and I made a very strong point, and this is what has formed my mindset. We are not in competition against each other or one another, against each other. That's what I said. Personally, even me as a human being, one of my mission is to reduce the level of competition, because life undulates between competition or collaboration. When you compete, you deplete resources, you kill yourself, you experience scarcity. When you collaborate, you harness, you maximize, you optimize, and that's the best way to live. If you look at nature, we're in collaboration with plants, animals, the earth, and when we start living in competition, we start dying. So what does that mean? So if we're going to collaborate, it means we must win together. So the mindset I've established is this: if she's winning, we are winning.
Okay.
If I'm winning, both of us are winning.
Okay.
Now, but if at any point she wins, I lose, we have lost. If I win, she loses, both of us we have lost. So the only time that we can say we have really, really won is that both of us are winning.
When there is no loss.
No, both of us are winning.
Yeah.
So if we have argument now, the goal is not who wins or who loses. If once we can establish a winner or a loser, we have already lost.
Wow.
You know the principle of 0 plus 1 minus 1 is 0. You have nothing. So it has to be plus 1 plus 1. So that's it. So that's the mindset. So I'm not threatened. So if at that point in time she needs to be in the limelight, for us to come into prominence, into influence, come on, I will just lend all my support to her immediately. So there's no need spreading ourselves thing. Say, okay, do your thing, I'm doing my thing. No, whatever name she makes is our name she's making.
Wow.
So I'm not threatened at all. I'm already secure.
Wow.
So
Have you seen this before?
I'm secure with myself.
This really surprised me, because we live in a generation where men are threatened by, or some men, not all men, are threatened by the success of their wives. And you also, some others who are not even threatened, we always tell you, I can't work together in the same business with my wife, so that C finish will not enter. You get my point? So they like having some level of control, privacy. You get my point? So this combination,
as she said, to add to it, you find out that some couples tell you that they get bored after some years in marriage. And these are couples that don't do business together. They spend the weekends together, and then the late hours of the day together. So, but from what we observe, I think you guys spend literally
more time.
Every time together, because you guys are partners in the house, you guys are partners outside. Do you get bored? I don't know, but do you feel that sense of there's too much of this person in my space? Can I? I don't really know how to put it, but does it happen?
Okay, this is it. And then she also says something about that. Boredom only sets in where the content or the essence of purpose is lost. And it will take forever to actualize purpose. So as long as there's purpose driving us, there's always something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Just like this podcast we're having now. As long as you have, because the issues of human being, you can't exhaust it. Even Adam Smith tells us that. You can't exhaust it. So there will always be issues to look up to. There will always be problems to solve. So it's only if when we look at our lives are not inspiring each other, then there's boredom. So that is what I have to say about that. So because there's always something we're looking forward to every other day. Every day we're looking at how to help each other achieve, how to help each other win, how to help each other get better, and how to improve each other in our respective endeavors. So there's always something to talk about. There's always something to look. If as yesterday night said she wanted to get wanted to engage me in the talk. That was around almost 2 a.m. I said, man, I need to sleep because I have a podcast, I have a service, I have,
You have
service.
a lot to do.
After that, I still have a meeting with a client that will run from 7 to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
It's a strategy meeting. And man, I said no. I said, babe, I beg, make I sleep first.
So, like, for you, I want to, like, don't you...
Okay, maybe I should start by correcting the mindset that that perfect mindset, because we're not perfect people.
True.
And we've accepted our imperfection. Do we have issues? We quarrel about things, but one thing I look at is what is the root cause of what is causing the issue. Most times it's personality differences, not value differences. When it comes to value, we share the same value. Before we got married, we established that the word of God is the final authority on any issue. So God's word is what sets the tone of what we believe. So whatever I want to believe about money, about relationship, about life, about people, is based on our superior beliefs, which is what does God's word say. So when it comes to our value system, we agree on a lot of things. We agree as how to lead people, how to treat people, how to handle our families, how to handle in-laws. We share the same belief, but our personality, like I say, when it comes to spending, how we spend, we can have issues in why will you go and spend that kind of money on this kind of thing. And then we find out that even in what we value personally. For example, I went to work out somewhere recently. I said, maybe you spend that money to go and work out. Just one day. If I say, let me buy what do you call it now? What do you call it? My husband loves perfume. Let me buy perfume now. You go and you keep your face like, and then we have to accept, I value perfume, you value exercise, and we spend on those things. And we just, you shouldn't feel anyhow when I spend on what is important to me. So our differences come from our personal preferences, our personalities, and all that. But when it comes to belief, we believe the same thing about. As far as God's word says it, we tie down to that. Then talking about boredom, I don't get bored because there's always something. There are children. 2 days ago, I gave me a list of things that we're yet to plan about our children, nutrition and health, their development. We still have church growth to plan. We have we have this project. We want to start. They want to launch into secondary schools. We still have that to plan. And we need to look at how all these things will fit into our schedule so that we don't wear out. When it comes to, there are a lot of things that started outsourcing in the house. And in the house we partner. My husband cooks. He cooks better than me, and I'm happy about it. So, because he understands the chemical reaction of how the ingredients work, and that's his business. We can't even cook together. That's another.